Hello, one and all. Jasper here, a little late compared to our usual recordings because somebody, not going to point any fingers, was busy yesterday. So we're a little bit behind, but hopefully it shouldn't take us too long to catch up, especially because there's only one more episode after this one.
I wonder who's busy.
hmm It's a mystery. But hey, I will say, I'm a little chipper in this episode because I think this might arguably be either the best episode of this season or the second best episode of this season. I want to
Really?
I want to be clear. I'm not saying it's good. It is not. There is a lot of shit in here, but there were actually some moments that I really enjoyed.
Okay.
Now, let's see how long it takes for you with your fucking knowledge and wisdom and whatnot to say why this episode is actually the worst one.
I don't know that it's the worst one, but I definitely don't remember having positive feelings while I was watching it.
Maybe I'm just getting too easily pleased, but no need to waste any more time. We can start the episode here, and I mean, we really kick off this episode with a little bit of a dream sequence from good old Helena.
Yeah, she's seeing some flames and she has a horse.
Yep.
Wait, what could it mean?
Oh, it's impossible to tell. I mean, I have no idea. I've read the books and I have no idea what she could possibly be seeing.
Well, guess we'll never know.
But this little dream sequence is short lived as she's very rudely woken up by Rhaenyra, who, upon having learned that Helena is a dragon dreamer, or whatever the term is, decides to pester her a little bit on what the fuck is going to happen in the future, like shaking a magic 8 ball.
Yeah, and she's so bad at like pretending to not be a bitch. It's yeah, it's pretty it's uncomfortable to watch. I will give them that. They did a good job of
Yeah,
doing that one.
I gotta say though, there's something about in regards to Rhaenyra's character that makes me feel like I'm a little bit of a hypocrite. Because one of my biggest issues with Rhaenyra in like the earlier seasons was that they took away a lot of her bite, a lot of her gray, the aspects. I felt like they were very much trying to whitewash her. But in this episode, not this episode, but this season, I feel like, now it's almost like too much. She's being portrayed as just far, far too unlikable to a ridiculous degree. Is that just me, or like, do you think has there been like a big change for you in that regard?
Yeah, I think you are onto something there. She definitely has been depicted as a lot less of a good guy this season, which I guess is because she's in power now, and I think the writers probably just hate anybody who has authority, so they're just going to depict them as always having to make the most retarded decision possible.
Yeah, I mean, some of her decisions, like, I, not blah 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 blah. She's made bad choices in the show, but some of them I was kind of on board with. Like it kind of made sense for her character to make these poor decisions, like inviting all the merchants and nobility that was in King's Landing and feeding them rats and confiscating all their food. Like that felt like an in character, short sighted, bad decision. But this, like her treatment of Helena, like this just comes off like people previously were saying we were making her look too good. So now we got to make her look real bad. But now you're kind of at the point where these kind of bad situations make her feel out of character.
Yeah, like at what point did she become this like yeah, she doesn't care about anybody but herself, it seems. She ignored her son when he returned. She's the only person she like seems to be even slightly nice to this entire episode, maybe even for most of the season so far is Damon.
I mean, she's pretty nice to one other character. One might say a little too nice.
Well, for like 1 minute, but like right before that, she was even being a bitch. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot I love you."
Well, anyways, it's a short little scene to kind of maybe hint at some things that are kind of to come and show that Rhaenyra is still worried about what's to come in this war, despite, for all intents and purposes, it seems like she's won. But hey, we get this great scene that comes up next off in Harrenhal.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Which I will say when I was watching this scene and Allison walked in, I was like, "Holy shit, they are wasting no time."
well,
Like they just time jumped straight to it,
yeah.
which isn't quite true, but is actually true. So
I mean, obviously this isn't the real Alicent. No, the real Alicent shows up 3 seconds after this dream by coincidence.
yeah,
God, but no, who? I think it's like Sarah Hess right now. She's one of the writers who's like taking credit, like willingly taking credit as like the whole like love triangle, which I don't even think it's accurate to call it a love triangle between A- Aemond, Alice, and Alicent. It's like,
is Alice the Negachin?
yeah,
Oh,
I
I
think
didn't know she had
she's
a name.
yeah, she's Alice Rivers, and I think she's like a bastard child from the Strong family, which is why she's kind of set up shop in Harrenhal. But anyways, my point
Wait, so
being,
the actual writer referred to it as a love triangle?
yes,
Jesus.
which like I don't think Alicent would agree with that.
I hope not.
But anyways, like who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Who asked for this? Who honestly looked at these people off in Hollywood and be like, "Hey, do you know what would be really interesting in this story? What if we had Aemond have dream sex with his mother? Like, obviously, we need to have that because for some fucking reason, we had Daemon do the same shit last season."
Well, and i- in this scene, is this a dream or is the Negachin like using witchcraft to trick him?
God, like, I'm hoping it's more so like Harrenhal fucking with him rather than the Negachin, like, using witch magic to make him imagine that it's his mom.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's weird to me. I mean, I guess they've been doing weird shit with Harrenhal this whole time. So who's to say?
Yeah, but
But yeah, what sort of benefits, what sort of character benefits do we get from all of this?
oh, that's actually interesting. I wrote a whole page. It's blank. There is no benefit. There is nothing. There's not a single good thing about this change. It's just to like I think like hold on to the creepy weirdos like in the fandom who like all the incest shipping and whatnot.
Gee, I hope not. If if online shippers is an explanation for this, then that is the worst conceivable reason to do this.
Listen, the only like shipping fandoms that I think are worse than Game of Thrones is like anime. But it's close. It's really close. I think we got them beat a bit on the incest, a little bit less on the pedophilia.
Yeah.
But
Well,
anyways, so I mean, God, this is just awful. It's terrible. I hate it. Let's move on. Unless, do you have something profound to say about this shit scene?
no, nothing more.
Well, we're reminded about how Cole's doing, which is not very well.
Yeah, he's having a bad day.
Yeah, looks like a bit of a headache. He needs some ibuprofen.
Yeah.
But Tumbleton is preparing for the inevitable attack. And like it's kind of just like, just reminding like, hey, a battle's about to take place, we're getting ready. It's getting close. We're drawing closer to it.
Well, and we got Chud fella. I forget his name. Ormond?
The main high tower? Because it's Gawain who's the
Yeah.
short one, Ormond who's the main
Yeah, Ormond. I'm gonna just start calling him Chud now.
one.
Um we get him hinting that he has some secret ace up his sleeve, but he won't tell anybody what it is.
Hmm. Yeah. But hey, this is a little bit. I found this next scene kind of jarring. Damon's just in the veil, but
Yeah, why
why?
not?
But why?
Because he heard that they saw his dumbass daughter riding her dragon.
But
I assume
that seems unlikely
it's
because
very unlikely.
the last time we saw Damon, he was dressed as a gold cloak, beating the piss out of Ulf, and
Right.
then he's flying back to the Vale. Now, if he had gotten word of like sheep stealer flying, which seems very unlikely, because it's the next scene where Adam and Bela even come across sheep stealer, and thus tell Rhaenyra.
Right. So the only sort of explanation I could provide is that in the scene that happened last time where what's her needle got in trouble, some people did see her riding sheep stealer, and so the rumor mill managed to spread it all the way to King's Landing, and Damon managed to catch the rumor before it got to Rhaenyra and then flew up here.
Yeah, which I mean, it's possible because Missaria might be the worst mistress of whisperers ever. Like her whole job is to hear rumors, to spy, to learn things, and she's so shit at her job.
Yeah, she didn't even know that what's her face was pregnant right under her nose.
Terrible. But anyways, so Damon is going in to talk to Lady Jane Eyre, and I felt this scene was also kind of stupid because Damon says like, "Why the fuck didn't you lock her up?" And she said, "How could I? She's a dragon rider." And maybe that would make sense if in the previous episode you didn't have her dragged into your castle.
Yeah, you can slap dragon riders, but you can't lock them up.
No,
All
no,
right, that's too far.
it's just impossible. But like, oh god, it's dumb.
Well, she probably forgot.
Of course. What would you have her do? For God's sakes, you're asking too
Yeah,
much.
you're asking way too much.
But anyway, maybe the reason Damon's here isn't because he had word of anything from Sheepstealer, but maybe he just wanted to visit Rhea and check on her, and just couldn't find her.
It's just yeah, just pure coincidence.
Uh, but anyways, Damon convinces Lady Jane to keep her mouth shut, and he'll hopefully be able to deal with this. And she listens, apparently.
Not that it matters.
No, not at all. In the very next scene, obviously we have Adam and Bela, where Adam is all like, who trying to put the moves on, and Bela is just like, oh shit, your brother told you about us.
Yeah,
Which,
another love triangle. That's just what this show needs. Is it just needs more like this earlier seasons? That's what they were missing. They didn't have enough love triangles going on.
yeah, and the whole thing is like, there's actually like I still think it's weird for Bela to be in any sort of like kind of romantic setup, considering what happened to her betrothed, who she seemed to like a little. Like I get arranged marriages, there's probably not a ton of love, but anyways, it's still kind of crazy because Adam by far is being kind of more effort is being put up into like their development, whereas Alan is just like hey, how you do it, and they're just making out.
Well, you gotta consider Alan. Which one's the bald one?
Alan,
The bald one is he's bald, so he's just too much to resist.
God,
Women can't resist bald men.
I wish you were right. I feel like our society discriminates against bald people too much.
No, I'm clearly correct. The show proves there's no reason to pick the like older brother who doesn't have a dragon, except for the fact that he's bald.
Well, I mean, they're legitimized, he also gets Driftmark, which is currently like in ruin. But
That's true. That's true. But what would you rather have, Driftmark or a dragon?
I mean, Bela already has a dragon.
Would you rather have one dragon and a Driftmark or two dragons?
I mean, debatably, I feel like two dragons might be better.
right?
Okay. But anyways, they have this little bit of an awkward moment, but they notice Sheep Stealer. And apparently, instead of going after Sheep Stealer, which wouldn't be too crazy, I mean, two dragon riders chasing after Sheep Stealer. Sheep Stealer ain't no Vagar. But they decide to head off to King's Landing instead.
Yeah.
Alrighty, good for that. Alright, anyways, back to Harrenhal. Aemon's a little
Okay.
bit awkward with his walking around with his crushed mother like that, as she just exposition dumps this whole fake ass story about how one of this member of the King's Guard came down and like helped her escape and brought her to Harrenhal.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hey, I mean this gives you credit because originally I thought that Rhaenyra was like just sending Alicent down to kill Aemond, but you are correct that she at least sent a guy who presumably would have been the one to kill Aemond.
Yeah. One fella. Which
Once,
again, if she had just sent two fellas, I think she would have had him.
I mean, did it have to just be two? I feel like five would have been like reasonable as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have easily sent five.
Mhm. But anyways, before that whole moment, we have a little bit of a back and forth between Aemond and Allison. Pretty much Aemond like kind of double checking, like, shit, you're real this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And probably being like insanely horny.
uh, but anyways, we're introduced to the guy, and I gotta say, the show seems to think that members of the Kingsguard are actually assassins and not knights who fight. Because this is like the third fucking time a member of the Kingsguard was sent off to try and assassinate someone.
Wait, the Kingsguard are supposed to guard things?
Yeah, imagine that.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
Right. And like, to be fair, the previous one was a suicide mission. At least this one he had a chance. But Aemond, like, kind of kills him for no reason.
For sure kills him for no reason.
Okay. And I feel like there's a lot of reasons they could have given him to kill him. But instead they go with the whole, like, there are secrets here that I can't trust with strangers. And I'm assuming that's the dragon eggs, right?
No. I assumed it was just that he was alive.
Maybe?
The dragon eggs are too lame of a secret, dude. Nobody gives about your fucking dragon eggs.
I don't know, but I think there are other things. Like, for example, this motherfucker is a member of the King's Guard. Presumably, maybe, like, Aemon knew that he was named to the King's Guard, even if it did happen after King's Landing was taken, and just didn't trust that. Like,
Well, but their explanation is that he's stayed loyal and helped Alicent escape. So
uh, I mean, I don't know. I don't like the motivation.
no, I mean, I guess they've depicted Damon as like some sort of psychopath that just like would kill people for almost no reason at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they killed that stable boy earlier for, for pretty much no reason.
I mean, he would have blabbered and told everyone that Aemond is here. So, Allison, justly horrified by that whole skewering. But yeah, there are secrets here I can trust no stranger. Like, I feel like if it was as simple as, like, I need to make sure that nobody knows I'm here, he would just say that. I feel like the Dragonades have to kind of be in conjunction with that.
Maybe so.
All right, we get a little funny moment where Alice shows up and goes like, "Oh, you're just in time for supper."
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm. All right, we get another weird scene though with the next one where Ormond is just having a bit of a meal with Corlys, and I'm a little like confused by what his motivations are. If his motivation is to kind of like turn Corlys to his side, he's really shit at it. I feel like the only way you can kind of interpret this scene is Corlys is doing this just to annoy and fuck with him.
Yeah, but like, why, why even take Corley's alive?
Well, the
Like,
whole
he's a hostage,
well,
but getting him from where he was down to Tumbleton without anyone discovering and taking him back seems pretty risky.
well, hey, we learn from a later scene that despite Corley's being brought all the way down to fucking Tumbleton, they don't. They it's like any word from Corley's. Oh no, nothing. Oh, I guess that's normal.
Yeah, sometimes he just goes radio silent for
Yeah.
extended periods of time. That's how Corley's rolls.
Any word from any of the men he was stationed with? Like, do we know nothing? Like, oh no, we haven't heard from any of those guys in like a month or so.
Yeah. Yeah, they all just went silent.
Yeah, but like it. So I think you can only interpret this as like Ormond trying to like convince like just to annoy Corlys because he hates Targaryens and maybe Valerians.
Well, yeah, that was one thing I thought was a little bit odd about the way he was speaking to him. Was like, I guess he was making it sound like he really hates Targaryens but doesn't hate Valerians that much or something, but
It
then fails to do that.
I mean it's select like maybe it's like selective racism. Like maybe you can be okay with like you're okay with a drastic example, you're okay with white people but you're not a fan of the KKK kind of thing.
But that has nothing to do with race. Oh, I see what you're saying. So, like, he's okay with people from old Valyria, but just hates Targaryens
Yeah, more like a family thing. Like,
or
just
hates anyone with a dragon.
but I still feel like that doesn't quite check out because the Valarians are a different family, but they're like you can't tell because of the casting choices, but they're heavily related and intermingled with the Targaryens. The Valarians have married into the Targaryen family a lot of times, and vice versa. I mean, fuck, Corlys was married to a Targaryen. The House
Which
Valarian
is
had
kind of odd.
three dragon riders.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is like it's a weird like now I'm kind of confused about his motivation. But like I said, if we interpret this as him just wanting to like fucking insult with Corlys by like saying like, I mean, obviously your wife died because she was a filthy Targ. Like he was just throwing some shade.
I guess so.
Mhm.
And I guess the main purpose of the scene was just to show that he captured Corlys alive and fucking transported him hundreds of miles without it getting interrupted.
Yeah, I mean, I will say though, it does make more sense to kind of in my head to keep Corlys alive because his whole thing is like if he holds Corlys, that's another thing though because we're also talking on another thing. His whole thing was like, oh, if we have Corlys alive, then the men of Driftmark, the House Velaryon men at arms and soldiers and knights, they're going to be hesitant to enter King's Landing and serve as the guards and gold cloaks to help make the city like start eating itself easier.
Hmm.
So he would want people to know he has Corlys. So it's all the more baffling that in a couple, like I don't know if it's the next scene or a couple scenes later, that they don't know what happened to Corlys.
Yeah. And I mean, he sends the finger later, so he lets them know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still, like if you were confident that you could capture him and get him all the way to Tumbleton without any issues, then sure, it's a convenient hostage to have. But that seems like a crazy gamble to me.
Honestly, now that you mentioned the finger, though, I'm kind of trying to look at his hands. I'm
I don't
wondering,
think he's been chopped yet.
you don't think he's been chopped yet? You think he's
Yeah,
got all
because
his digits?
yeah, I was looking also, and didn't see anything.
Alrighty. Well, anyways, so with that, kind of a dumb little scene, and then we get like Darren and Gawain talking about like what's going on with Ormond? He's crazy. There's no way we can win this and all that junk and hullabaloo. And there's just like I granted, I know the odds of and how are stacked against them, but Ormond is definitely not in a position where things are hopeless.
I think he's in a pretty hopeless position. Like from their point of view, he's just waiting for the army to march on them and start laying siege to Tumbleton or whatever it's called. And
Well,
then what are they going to do at that point? Then they're just trapped in the city until they're starved out.
Well, I'd imagine the whole kind of thought process that one could go with is Ormond is trying to make King's Landing volatile enough to where it can erupt in chaos and thus opportunity can arise. For example, maybe there's a bit of like storming the Red Keep from the peasantry and the small folk, which can result in Rhaenyra's death. If Rhaenyra dies, then that's a massive blow to the Blacks and can very much change how everything goes about. It's a gamble, don't get me wrong, but they're making it sound like he's a madman.
Well, and I don't know that like Rhaenyra dying would be a realistic possible outcome, but more so like maybe having her be forced to use her dragon on the people of King's Landing, which would, I guess, cause further dissatisfaction with her.
Maybe,
But again, like she has dragons, so there's not really a way for her to be violently deposed.
I mean, they got Tessarion.
Right. Which kind of goes to my point.
All right. Okay, so maybe it's a little bit more suicidal or than I thought, but I don't know. I still think like there's like if you roll a nat 20, you guys still got a chance.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess if he really believes in what he's doing, if he thinks that getting Targaryens off the throne is that important, then it might be worth risking it all.
Mhm. But we have a little bit of back and forth between Gawain and Darren, and you know, it's a decent moment, but it's like I feel like there's not a whole lot to like comment on. Darren's just kind of feeling quite powerless and like a tool rather than his own like a king.
Right.
So he's get
Which
like
is what he is.
mhm.
So he's at least understands his situation.
You are very aware of what is happening, Darren.
Yeah, good job.
Uh, but back in King's Landing, we have a bit of a small council meeting, which I kind of enjoyed because we have Torrin Manderly pretty much calling out Rhaenyra on her bullshit.
Yeah, and she just goes, anyway,
Change the topic.
change subjects.
But yeah, but like I said previously with Rhaenyra and Helena, that was a level of like incompetence and cruelty that felt quite out of character for her. Whereas this definitely comes off as a level of incompetence that I can believe.
Yeah,
Like no shit, he's going to be able to put two and two together.
right, but and then she can ignore him because it's like, what's he gonna do about it?
Master of coin with no gold, you can't do shit.
Right. So, what do you think about her just commanding that lady to go take Harrenhal?
I mean, the phrase was supposed to be given Harrenhal. It's like, but it feels like such a fucking like you could have done this so much sooner. What the fucking point was having this bitch here? She contributed nothing.
Right. To me, it seems like she should have been sent to take Harrenhal immediately.
Like yeah, like when they were in the Riverlands and she was closer. Now she's all the way in fucking King's Landing.
Right, exactly. And if they had taken Harrenhal, they might have fucking discovered something there.
Yeah,
Who's to say?
yeah. If the phrase were taking Harrenhal, maybe they would have found Aemon and his like witch wife and kill him and arrest him because he doesn't have Vagar right now.
Yeah.
It's a very
So
contrived
just
set
kind
of
of
bullshit.
right. She just kind of arbitrarily none of that happened for some reason.
Mm. Yeah, we couldn't obviously have the phrase go into Harrenhal because that would have fucked up what the story wants to happen.
Right. So everybody's just going to be really stupid for several months.
Hmm. Anyways, it's revealed though when Adam and Bela show up that
But
oh,
actually, how much time has passed? Because Eamon's wound is still bothering him. And I don't know, like it's not a great place to get stabbed, but
I mean I don't know.
th-
I once like slipped and like scraped my knee, and it hurt for like a while, like a whole week before it started feeling better. So I imagine like
right.
a stab wound would take quite a while to like be all.
But I'm just wondering with the amount of teleportation that has happened since he was stabbed, it has to have been at least a couple months, if not more.
I mean, to be fair, Dragon Rider teleportation is much more forgivable than like Corley's going from the Crown Lands all the way to Tumbleton.
Right, and we've had a lot of teleportation like that. We had Adam teleport to Corley's and then teleport back to King's Landing, and then we had all the people from Tumbleton, the mercenaries from Tumbleton, teleport up to Corley's, capture him, and now they have teleported back down to Tumbleton. And those are just like a few of the teleportations off the top of my head.
I mean, like it could. I'd imagine like the stab wound that Aemond got could take like several months. It seemed pretty serious.
Maybe so.
I mean, it went through like all his armor, so there was a lot of force put into it.
No, that was clearly his kidneys didn't get have armor, obviously.
But anyways, because of that, Missaria and Rhaenyra start talking a little bit and debating on how trustworthy Daemon is, which it's a waste of time because no, like we know as show watchers that Daemon is like completely subservient to Rhaenyra at this point for no reason. But no, obviously he's done like nothing for you to ever really trust what the fuck he says and does.
What you mean for no reason? He obviously believes deeply in the prophecy.
Oh, right. That bullshit vision. Like, oh, in 150 years, we're going to be in trouble, guys.
Yeah, and that really motivates him. Damon really, really cares about that.
Hey.
But yeah, Damon has been consistently pro family the entire show. Like that's been one of the most consistent characteristics of any character in the show
Mm-hmm.
is that Damon has always put family as one of his top priorities.
I mean, immediate
So,
family. He doesn't care too much about his cousins.
right. So then to call his loyalty into question because like he's betrayed some dumb whore in the past. That's obviously ridiculous.
Well, I mean, they're calling his loyalty into question because he did lie about slaying the rider of Sheepstealer.
Right. But then that gets resolved. So
Yeah, we just need a couple more scenes and that gets resolved really quickly. But hey, the next scene we got is Aegon traveling along with Larry's and Tywin Lannister. And it's a nice enough scene. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but it's setting, obviously what comes up near the end of the episode as they get word of House Mooten is specifically searching around for Tywin Lannister.
yeah, which I don't know.
I mean,
The timelines on all this stuff doesn't make any sense to me. But
it's a little wishy-washy, but like, I mean, I get like Tywin Lannister's like a fairly important guy, but eh,
but like again, how long has it been since he fucking disappeared in that battle?
mhm. And I don't know. A part of me kind of questions like this whole thing. It's like they treat these noble characters and whatnot like as modern celebrities.
Right, where people could recognize them if they saw them.
Yeah, which is I feel like that's very much not the case given like
No.
the period and like technology. Like maybe a noble could recognize another noble, that makes more sense. But like
Hmm.
the motherfuckers in the Crown Lands aren't going to see Tywin Lannister and be like, "Hey, I know that guy."
Right. Like, yeah, your common foot soldier isn't gonna have any clue. I mean, maybe they'll have seen a drawing
Well, even
of him.
maybe if they served under them, maybe they would have seen.
Hmm. But like, if you even if you had a drawing of Tywin Lannister, it would just be a fucking dude with a beard. It would look like 100 different potential people.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, next scene, we're back at Harrenhal, and great, Harrenhal is turned into a sitcom show.
Yeah.
Oh, Alice doesn't like her mother-in-law. Though I think it, I mean, she's perfectly justified because the mother-in-law is here to kill her son, and also her husband wants to fuck his mother. So she's got every right to not like Allison.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess it's, the power of women's intuition that she just knows Alicent came here to kill her son.
I mean, I feel like you can smell it off that bitch. She already tried to kill one son. It's perfectly justifiable she's going to try and kill the other. And I'm waiting until she tries to kill Darren. Like I swear, the only reason she hasn't tried to kill Helena is because Helena's a daughter.
Yeah.
A son comes before a daughter. Once the three sons are dead, then she'll just actually snap that bitch's neck.
Yeah. But nobody knows that. Like, we know that, but the characters don't know that.
No, no, I get it, but God, fuck this shit. This is ass. And just to be clear, I was very much aware of all this shit when I declared this to be like the second best episode of the season. We'll get
Right.
we'll get eventually. I think you know the scene I'll talk about, but we'll get to that one scene that makes me think that this episode's the second best.
And actually, as we've been discussing, I think you might be right. Because I like the dragon scenes. So,
I mean, with all the criticisms that we've had with the show, I don't think we've ever had anything too bad to say about the dragons. I think the only exception is like Vagar being a sneaky bitch. Like, how the
yeah,
fuck are you sneaky?
right, stuff like that. But the CGI is obviously great. It's a fantastic spectacle.
The dragon designs,
So,
how they're all unique and different. Like, oh, it's fantastic. But,
hmm.
anyways, kind of getting back to the topic, they have a little bit of an awkward dinner. Alice asks Aemon to go chop firewood. They have a little bit of talk. Allison sneaks off, takes a dagger from the Kingsguard member, and decides, and just happens, I guess, that there's a poisonous flower she can use.
Yeah, I feel like they said something about those earlier in the season.
Did they?
Yeah, I couldn't swear to it, but I kind of just have vague memory when she looked at them that those had been set up.
Well, to everyone who made
They,
it this far, if they set it up, then I'll be more forgiving of it. If they did not, then that's some bullshit.
okay, yeah. I mean, I agree.
Alrighty. Next scene, we're back to good old Aegon. And, I mean, Aegon is one of the characters that I despise. Like, I feel like I kind of have to hate because of his, like, introductions. And, like, when he's a teenager, he's introduced jerking off a window. And then when the adult actor comes in, it's Allison scolding him for raping a girl. So, but I will say, like, the actor is, like, doing the best he can with what he's given. And because of that, like, aside from, like, Damon, he's, like, kind of the most entertaining character. Like, he's kind of the best character we get so far in the show.
I think I agree with you. Like he's at least showing to be somewhat dynamic. Like he's had some character development. Although I feel like they might throw a bunch of that away now that he has his dragon back, but we'll see. And yeah, the actor's doing a good job of playing like a crippled, depressed boy. So
I mean, yeah, there's like something there with him. It just like it pisses me off so much that he doesn't get the screen time that he needs. Like it's a crime that Alicent will likely have at the end of this show like 4 or 5 times the amount of screen time as he is. And he's like the claimant. He's the guy who's supposed to be against Rhaenyra.
right. Although I will say, I mean, just with the way his story's been going, that he hasn't had a lot to actually do this season. So, like, if he'd had more screen time, even the screen time he had was extremely repetitive.
Fair enough. But I think I'd take
Which
all of that
obviously
over.
you could write a better story, and that would help with that problem. But that's asking a lot.
Mhm. I think there's definitely different ways they could have taken it to where it wouldn't have been as repetitive. And honestly, even if they couldn't, even if all the screen time was more of him and Laurie's just going like, with Jay or Thailand, oh, do we go to the Western Lands? Oh, do we take a boat to Bravo? So if it was just more of that, I would still take that over every single fucking scene we get with Alicent, all of them. I will take that any day of the week. It's not a contest.
Yeah, yeah. At least it's not like actively destructive.
But I mean, also in regards to this scene, we've been pretty critical with like how a lot of the Greens have been portrayed as like kind of just scumbags in one way or another. Thailand has pretty much been reliably portrayed as a fairly like for the times a decent guy. I mean, he has the
Mhm.
opportunity, like Larry's, to just like fuck off and get away, and just like his two soldiers or knights or guards or whatever who fuck off right when Aegon starts saying like, this is where I'm going to make my last stand. Like, I mean, he chooses to stick around with his kings. So, like, Thailand has been one of the few characters on the side of the Koreans that's been portrayed as a pretty honorable, upstanding guy.
Yeah, yeah. He is probably the most likable Green. I guess Gawain hasn't been portrayed too poorly.
Yeah, but he's gay. He doesn't count.
He's not gay, dude. That's propaganda. That's black propaganda.
It was said by Ormond.
Dude, Orman doesn't know what he's talking about. He's bought into the lies.
I mean, I don't know. Did you see the way that Gawain was kind of looking and talking to Kristen? Like, I think when he was offering Kristen to come over to serve the High Towers, he wasn't thinking of like a guarding. He was thinking of more of a intrusive idea.
No, no, this is slander.
Storming the Black Gates. Doing a little Lord of the Rings parody. uh, but anyways, next scene, we have Reyna on Sheepstealer, and Caraxes shows out of nowhere and pretty much gets the bitch to touch down. And they have a little chit chat, a little bit of a bonding scene. And as a book purist, I hate this. Like I've said before, anything that has Reyna is garbage in my eyes. But objectively, if I had no knowledge of the books, I think this scene is like pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Considering how damaging completely removing a character is in a lot of ways, I think they do something relatively interesting with her relationship with Damon here.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they get a lot more development with Damon and Reyna, and I was actually kind of looking forward to what was coming because it sounded like we were kind of getting a little bit towards more of the book situation. Because in the books, it's Damon and Nettles on Sheepstealer who were sent out to hunt and find Vagar. So I thought now we're getting the pairing together when Damon said like, "Hey, I'll do this with you to help you." And I like her motivation to be like, if I can kill Vagar, then maybe just maybe I can present myself to Rhaenyra with a somewhat kind of not just clean conscience, but maybe she won't have me killed.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, some level of redemption.
Mm-hmm. So
Which makes sense because Vagar is responsible for her first son's death,
yeah,
and so it would kind of be avenging that wrong to an extent.
yeah. With that said, though, oh no, Adam and Rhaenyra show up just a couple of minutes after these two found each other. What are the odds?
Literally unimaginably low.
Incredibly contrived. And I mean, like I said, as contrived as the scene is, though, I enjoy it. Like the characters and how their reactions. Rhaenyra like being pissed, but like it feels like that she's really angry about the whole situation, but she's also like understanding of it, even with her anger like boiling over. And she's conflicted, realizing that Rhaena is kind of responsible for the death of Jace.
Yeah. Yeah, I think despite the contrived setup, the actual character interactions and motivations here are handled fairly well.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm one of the few people who wish and have said like, "Ah, god damn it." Well, I will say though, hold on. Now that I'm watching this, as we're talking about it, why does Reyna run away? Like she just runs off rather than to Sheep Stealer.
I think it's
Well, okay,
basically
Damon tells her to leave Sheep Stealer, which I don't know.
yeah.
That seems like an unwise choice.
Yeah. Although I will say Adam has fucking balls of steel running over there, snatching her and dragging her back with Sheep Stealer right there.
Yeah, pretty damn close by. But let's face it, the reason why this scene exists is to get some dragon on dragon conflict. And unlike, the previous times where it's been like sky combat, this is on the ground, which I don't know why, but that just makes the whole thing feel like so much more visceral.
Yeah. Yeah, and they did this scene it makes it way easier to tell the scale of the dragons
Hmm.
cuz I didn't realize how small Rhaenyra's dragon is.
Yeah, Rhaenyra's dragon, like this, with how vague the books are, it's kind of hard to say. But reasonably, I do think that Cyrex, I think that's her dragon's name, I think should be, well, not bigger than these dragons, but like it feels like the same size as Sunfire or Aegon's dragon,
Mhm.
which I feel like it should be bigger than Sunfire because it's like got a decade or two on it. But
And
I
then
go ahead.
Damon's how much older is Damon's dragon?
Damon's dragon is quite a bit older because Damon isn't actually the first rider of it, I don't think.
Right.
I think at this point in the story, so born in the 70s. So I think it'd be about 70 years old, give or take.
Okay.
60 to 70 years old. Whereas Cyrix was an egg that was hatched with Rhaenyra, so Cyrex would be about 30 years old.
Oh, okay, okay. And Sheep Stealer's probably about the same age as Damon's dragons for like 70.
Um, the it should be older, I think. So yeah, so actually it should be about a presumably at the youngest. Actually, I think about 100 years old.
Oh, okay. Because it looks pretty much the same size as Damon's dragon to me.
I think it looks
Like obviously they're very different builds, but
yeah. I think it's a little bit of trickery. Cyrix is more like, I mean, not Cyrix.
long.
Caraxes is more noodly, whereas
Yeah.
Sheep Stealer's a bit more like condensed. So I would say Sheep Stealer's technically bigger. Like if you put them on a scale, I think Sheep Stealer's still bigger. Like would weigh more.
Okay. Um. But yeah, good thing Damon was here, by the way, because I think Sheep Stealer would have fucked up those other two dragons.
Probably.
Like that fight did not look like it was going well before Damon intervened.
I mean, I'll be honest. Cyrax was doing a lot better than I thought it was going to do. I mean, Sheep Stealer's like 3 times its age, and Cyrax was actually doing a pretty decent job against it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I will say I do like this, not only for the spectacle, but like I said, one of my biggest criticisms of the books is just Rhaenyra's and Cyrex in general not doing really much of anything combat wise, despite being Dragon and Dragon Rider. So, as contrived at this as this is, and as much as I dislike it because of, you know, like it's not in the books, this obviously never happened because Rhaena, Nettles, all that stuff. But it's nice that she's kind of doing something, as useless as this is. And the spectacle is great, watching these dragons just throw down like this.
Yeah, and it does help a little bit with like the idea that they writers at least didn't just replace Nettles with no intentions at all. Like they clearly at this point have did it with the intent to try and weave Damon's relationship with his daughter into that whole character arc more.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I still, I'm still very skeptical that any of it was a good decision,
No,
but
definitely not. Because like I said, this doesn't exist. It's conflict for the sake of conflict. It doesn't matter much. And I also I mean, I guess it's somewhat believable, but Damon commanding Adam to fly off to protect the queen. Whereas, like, no, maybe I guess it makes sense, but still. Though I will
yeah,
say,
especially with Vagar potentially being in the area.
you know what? That's right. I didn't quite come up with that. But yeah, Sheep Stealer and Caraxes duke it out a little bit. Damon gets knocked off. Caraxes like a little bitch.
Yeah, which to me, it seems like you wouldn't even really want to be on your dragon in a fight like this.
Like I could see flying wise how much the rider can like help assist with the dragon with like, plans of attack and maneuvering. Like that kind of makes sense. I don't know what you can do when they're gnarling on each other like two pit bulls in like a dog fight. Like what the fuck are you going to be able to tell it to do?
Right, and as you see in this fight, Damon gets knocked off, which stops Caraxes from finishing the job.
So you don't think Damon just hopped back on there and went and finished off Sheep Stealer?
It didn't look like that was what he was planning to do.
I mean, it definitely didn't, but it could have. This is ambiguous. Maybe Sheep Stealer's dead.
I don't think it was ambiguous at all.
But anyways, it was fun key jangling stuff, though I still take many issues with how contrived it is.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. But hey, now we have Bisaria talking to this random whore.
Yep, very important stuff.
Riveting, even.
Important stuff, and we see that she let the money change her.
Which, I don't know, like, the whore comes off, like, I don't know her name, and I don't care for it, but the mommy whore comes off as incredibly stupid.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
here she is, like trying. Whether the money's changed her or not, she is having an audience with you and saying like, "Hey, I'm going to try and help you. What do you want?" And your whole thing is like, "Oh, you're not for the people anymore." Just like
And it's like she's literally talking to you right now.
like
What do
even
you mean?
even if you believe that, even if you honestly to God believe that stupidity, why just burn this bridge?
Yeah. Yeah, somebody with access to the highest level of authority in the kingdom is talking to you and trying to like get information and advice from you, and you're just gonna be like, no, I'm too good for this.
Yeah,
Bitch,
like
you're a whore. You're not too good for anything.
yeah. Also, I don't know if it's just me. I know there's like not they're not holding I don't know what's the word, but Rhaenyra's not here like taking the qualms and issues of the small folk or listening to petitions or whatever. But doesn't this throne room feel like empty? Like I know there's two guards in the back, but maybe it's just kind of like ignorance of the setting, but I feel like there should like almost always be like, someone like cleaning and sweeping or maintaining things, sharpening the iron throne or something.
Yeah, dude, someone would have to be oiling that bad boy 24/7, I feel like, to keep it from just turning into a pile of rust. But also, this could just be me being mean. This lady for sure looks like she's had plastic surgery done.
Which one?
The whore,
Which one?
the fat one.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, maybe.
And I don't think they had Botox in Westeros.
I mean, I've never been good at like telling that stuff. I like if you show me a before and after picture, it's easier for me. But even then, like if I've never seen the person before, I can like really struggle with like noticing these things. Like the last time I noticed like some real fucked up, plastic surgery was that one bitch from The Boys.
Yeah, that one was a tragedy.
That one made me depressed.
But yeah, I don't know. She just like her lips have a little bit of like a stiff Botoxy look, and her eyebrows kind of aren't the most expressive.
Yeah,
I could just be being mean.
you're. I mean, knowing you, you're probably being mean. But with that, we're. I mean, after this, we get a little scene with Rhaena, Rhaenyra, and Adam arriving in King's Landing, and pretty much Rhaena's put under house arrest.
Hmm.
But next, we're back at Harrenhal, and we see Alicent poison Aemond. Yeah, Mother of the Year.
Mother of the Year.
God, I actually recently watched like a video from a YouTube channel called Our Hilts Hurt, and they cover Game of Thrones just like I do. And the video was pretty much like Alicent's just the worst person ever. And God, I'm glad I'm not alone in thinking that. I hate her. I hate her so much.
Yeah, like how many times can you actively betray and try to get your children killed in a single show?
And it's kind of one of the thing is how it's portrayed. I feel like, and granted, it's an assumption, but I think like it's a very accurate assumption. The writers don't want me to hate Alicent, but
Yeah.
she's the most despicable, scummy character ever. Like I legit think the only character morally worse than her is Craster, who rapes his daughters. Alicent is just one rung above it because at least she hasn't tried to rape her daughter and sons.
Yeah, she's just tried to have consensual sex with her son.
Well, okay, credit where credit is due. She's very much been portrayed not wanting to do that, but all she's been trying to do is kill two of them.
Yeah.
God, like,
Yeah, and I think it would be interesting if someone did like a side by side comparison to like how Alicent is portrayed, like what sort of musical cues play during her scenes and that kind of stuff versus like Cersei. And because I guarantee if you go back, I mean, I haven't watched Game of Thrones since season 8 finished, but I guarantee if you go back and you watch Cersei, it's constantly banging you over the head with like this chick's evil. But I don't get that vibe from the way they portray Alicent, even though she is doing objectively evil stuff constantly.
and far worse than Cersei. As bad as Cersei was, she never tried to kill her kids. She loved them, like any proper mother should.
Right. Although blowing up the church is kind of bad.
Don't get me wrong, it's bad, but like, let's say you have kids. What would you rather do? Kill your kids or blow up the Pope?
That's a tough one. Blowing up the Pope's kind of a big deal.
I mean, I think you're hesitant because you don't actually have kids. But I'll say personally, and granted, I'm Protestant, not Catholic, but I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Pope. I respect a lot of things of you, but my kids will always come first.
Uh, I'm gonna choose not to answer this hypothetical. It makes me uncomfortable to think about.
Pleading the fifth.
Yeah.
All right, okay, Dr. Fauci. But anyways, after Alicent, poisons Aemond, we're back off in King's Landing, and we actually have a bit of a nice scene here, but it kind of gives credit to what I've said before that Rhaena didn't really have a whole lot to fear from Rhaenyra. It because I always felt like the idea of Rhaenyra just outright executing her stepdaughter was like a very much irrational fear, somewhat justified, but quite irrational.
Hmm.
But then we had Damon kind of like hammer it in, like, okay, well, no, he originally did try to convince Rhaena to come back. So he, at the very least, thought that it would have been fine. Obviously you're getting an ass whooping, but she would be alive.
Right. Yeah, Damon didn't think that Rhaenyra would like have her killed for it.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Actually, the more we talk about it, even when Rhaenyra says like, I'm drawing a blank on the exact word she is like, what do you think? Do you really like? Do you really think that bad of me? Like, am I that bad of a monster?
Yeah. Wait, so who are you saying you're agreeing with?
I mean, I originally said, I don't think there's really any chance that Rhaenyra would have killed Rhaena, even if she was tangentially related to Jace's death.
Hmm.
And I think Damon also thought that. But Rhaena, in the situation, I could still buy her, like, believing that to a
Yeah,
certain point. Like, how many fairy tales do you think are in Game of Thrones about stepmothers killing their stepdaughters?
probably none, dude. I think that those are only in this world.
But anyways, this scene I do like I enjoy. I got nothing like super great to praise about it, but this is one of those kind of like bare minimum moments where I'm just like, okay, these characters are being characters. There's conflict that's kind of believable, and they're dealing with it in
Hmm.
like what feels right, including like Rhaenyra telling Daemon like it's late, get out of my room.
Yeah.
Like, because Damon still betrayed her. A justified betrayal in some ways, kind of, sort of. But, they're both kind of dealing with it in their own way.
Hmm.
And in the very next scene, we have Bela kind of showing up and embracing Rhaena.
Yeah, kind of seemingly forgiving her.
Mm-hmm. Blood's thicker than water. All you got is family.
She killed your husband. You gotta kill her for that.
It's okay. She's over it already.
Well, and I think it's weird. I mean, maybe we'll get some of this next episode, but nobody's talking about or bringing up the fact that she was just riding on a dragon
Mm-hmm.
that she had no control of.
Well, yeah, but it still was her choice. What control she had over Sheep Stealer, she still chose as an inexperienced dragon rider to fly in to the Battle of the Gullet. And I'm not going to say like she caused Jace's death. I do think, she didn't help, obviously, but like Jace
Right.
made choices that he could have done to not die. For example,
Yeah.
don't lock your mother up.
Right. Although how bad would it have been if his mom had gone out there and died instead?
I mean, the show would hopefully end a lot sooner.
True.
Uh, but yeah, and next scene after Bela and Reyna, we have Alan getting Corlys' finger. Though I don't know why they have the Valarion ring on it, because like you can just look at the color and know who the fuck that belongs
No, man, Westeros is diverse as hell. That
to.
could be anybody's finger.
Who could it have been? Oh shit, maybe it's Adams, my own brother.
Yeah,
Oh shit,
I better run over and check.
maybe it's Maester Orwiles. Oh fuck. Anyways, and then after that, we get this fucking sitcom ass scene of Aemond going to Alice help passing out from the poison, and she just goes idiot.
Yeah, yeah, trying to make like this Aemond incest witch castle mother murder plotline into like a comedy thing was an interesting choice for sure.
Yeah, it was one of the choices of all time.
It was one of the choices of all time. And then unfortunately we see Alicent escaping, which means that she's going to live to see next episode.
God. I wonder where she's going to go. Is she like going to go to King's Landing now? I guess she could just head off to Tumbleton. I feel like
She
that's probably story-wise the more likely choice.
But she needs to go back for Helena, doesn't she?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Speaking of, we get a couple of like visions from
How
Helena again. And legit, I thought that she was like giving birth now. I'm just like, how many fucking time skips can we have in this show? Because that's the thing. I totally believed that we time skipped to Helena just giving birth to this kid. Wait,
I did as well. I had the same exact thought. It was only like halfway through the dream that I was like, "Oh, this is a dream.
well,
She's
yeah,
not actually giving birth."
yeah, because we see her giving birth, then we see her falling asleep. It's like, oh, okay, this is all bullshit. And then we see her on Dreamfire, and I gotta say, I think Dreamfire so far has been like the only dragon I'm looking at. I'm just like, really? That's the style you guys looked with?
Like its spines.
It feels very pokey. Feels very spiky. Like I
It
don't
is
know. Like uh, I don't know. I just didn't quite click with Dreamfire's design. I guess the name Dreamfire, I just kind of picture something a bit more majestic
Yeah,
rather than,
I
for
do
lack of a better
like
term,
purple.
demonic.
Purple's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, well, Dreamfire is described as like a very pale blue dragon.
Pale blue is not purple.
I mean, under the right lighting, could be purple-esque.
No. You want to know a funny Russian fact?
Sure.
Russian has a different word for light blue and blue. Light blue is goluboy and blue is sini. And the word for light blue in Russian also means gay.
So light blue is gay.
Light blue is gay.
Mm. But anyways, in regards to the visions, I kind of want to hear your thoughts about said visions because I kind of know what these visions are and what they're hinting
Okay.
at.
All right. So the first one, I think she's having a vision of herself giving birth
Hmm.
because she's pregnant.
Yes, that's a good one.
Okay. All right. The next one, I think she is having a vision about torching the townspeople because uh because because what's I don't know, I don't get anything funny for that one. She's because she's a Targaryen and that's what Targaryens do. Like it's to me it comes across as like her wrestling with, you know, her inner Targaryen. Like I'm a
Fighting the
Targaryen.
need to like slaughter innocents for no reason.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then the last one is White Walkers.
Sounds about right. She somehow escapes with her two remaining kids. One hasn't even been born yet, and she's just living on a farm. And then, oh no, White Walkers. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
you still don't have to worry about those fuckers for another 150 years, but oh no, White Walkers.
Yeah, we're just gonna fucking prophesize that for living hell out of them this entire show.
God damn it. Like, I feel like this would have only worked hinting at the White Workers if we were kind of like going through like if Game of Thrones didn't exist. But because Game of Thrones exists, it's stupid.
Right, if Game of Thrones had had like a really good ending and was really cool, then it would be cool. You'd be like, "Ooh, I know what this is about." But because I know how retarded Game of Thrones gets, it's just sours my taste every time they bring it up.
Mm-hmm. Uh, we
I do like this next scene where Rhaenyra throws the skull into the fire pit. I don't think it's very realistic for it to land so perfectly like that, but it was like it was done very satisfyingly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say on it, but she chucks that bitch like a proper pro.
Yeah.
Yeah? And she has a little bit of a conversation with Missaria, and oh, they remembered these two made out in the previous season.
I was hoping they forgot.
Me too. But yeah, we have Rhaenyra like staring at Missaria's cooch, and then they just start going at it. Like God, like
Yeah.
it's not as bad as the first time because at least they're not talking about how one of them was raped and impregnated by their father. But there's just like there's just no Rome. There's nothing. There's nothing here to get at all.
Yeah. They were literally just talking about like trust issues, basically.
And I want to be clear, I don't hate this because it's lesbians. I love lesbians. It's the most common tab on my porn history, but this is just so bad. And like I've seen good lesbian romances, like the first season of Arcane. I actually kind of liked the relationship between Catelyn and Vi. Like you can do this good. This isn't good. This is just shit.
Yeah.
But hey, this is followed by what is easily the best scene of this episode.
Are we there already?
Yeah, we're like the makeout scene is surprisingly long. You got to skip ahead a bit.
You do. And actually the final scene is surprisingly long.
Well, there's still one more scene after this one.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it's Ormond and Ulf.
Oh, right. Oh. They should have swapped those scenes.
They definitely should have swapped those scenes, but this scene is just great. It's a good mixture of like book accuracy and authenticity, but like not messing with it too much. It still has the events of the book, but it's one of the few instances where I think the show actually elevates what happens, and to a pretty high degree. Because in the books, Aegon, like I said, once he leaves King's Landing, we don't hear shit from him for a long time. And so all we hear is like Cyrax, or not Cyrax, Sunfire was just hanging out here, being protected and taken care of by some of the men Cole left behind. Until this House Mutin guy decided, like, hey, let's go kill the dragon. And they go and try, and he, along with like 3 dozen men, are killed.
Yeah, and I think that this scene also is a really good example of like when you can get away with contrivances because obviously a huge coincidence for Sunfire to show up right here when it did, but to me it's completely believable that at some point Sunfire was going to show up and then uh Cripple Boy would use the dragon to then like torch an army or something like that.
Oh yeah,
And so
and the
you
contrivance isn't that massive compared to what we've been getting. Like Adam and Rhaenyra showing up minutes after Daemon runs into Rhaena. Like that's bullshit to a
right
major
it's
degree.
not that big a contrivance and it's not that consequential a contrivance.
Hmm.
Like it seems consequential in the moment because it's like, oh, he's sacrificing himself and then the dragon comes and saves him. But like realistically, in the grand scheme of like the story, if you're going to have him get back with his dragon, then like this all of this stuff happening is not that out of line. And so this is just a really good way to depict it.
Yeah, and plus it even sounds like Aegon was kind of gambling with the situation because before he even gives his speech, I think he like looks back and says Sunfire, if I recall correctly. And so it
Oh,
seems like he was still kind of hoping that Sunfire would rise to help him. And so at that point, it's kind of like, if you have a moment in a show, bad guy is pointing a gun at the good guy and gives him a six-sided die and say, roll the die. If it comes up as a six, you live. If it comes out as a one or a five, you die. And the hero rolls the die and it comes up a six. It's kind of contrived, but it's not unbelievable, if that makes sense, if I'm explaining myself correctly.
right. Well, and if we go back to Rhaenyra and Alan showing up at just the right time, like that contrivance sucks because that entire scene is completely impossible without that contrivance. Like like having all those characters there doing the things they're doing, just it doesn't really make sense for that to have happened. But this it makes perfect sense.
And also, it like as much as I enjoyed the spectacle of the dragon fight for what it was, just fighting for the sake of fighting, this spectacle, it just feels so much more impactful because the writing is a lot more stronger here.
Yeah,
There's a
for
part of
sure.
I don't know how like writing works for a show. Like there's tons of writers. And Ryan is kind of the head writer. He kind of puts his stamp of approval on things. But I wonder if they have like different writers kind of handling different characters and different stories. Like they have one guy who's writing for Rhaenyra, one guy who's writing for Aegon, one guy who's writing kind of for the Greens, and they're kind of following an outline that was made out by the main guy, Ryan. But so that's kind of what I'm assuming with no experience at all. And if that is the case, whoever they have on Aegon might be like kind of the only competent writer they have on this shit show.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't make sense to me if that is how they're doing the writing, but from the way the show is, it seems possible.
Yeah,
Like the jumps in quality between different characters makes that seem like a plausible suspicion.
I don't know. I think there's like some sort of separation in scenes. Like you handle this, we handle this, da 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 da. I feel like there's something along those lines. But anyways,
Hmm.
this is the reason why I think this episode, this scene, is why this is probably the second best episode. Like the only reason I would consider the first one better is just because since that's entirely spectacle with the Battle of the Gullet, the shit story, they have less opportunity to have such shit story. Whereas this still has plenty of shit story.
Hmm. Yeah, and god damn they make Sunfire ugly as hell.
I mean, it got fucked up by Melees and
Yeah,
Vhagar.
yeah. But
And
I'm excited to see that dragon model in the daylight.
right? Because yeah, because even with the fire, we don't get a great look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been the perfect way to end this episode. But no,
Yeah.
we got to have Ormond and Ulf just having a drink by the fire.
Yeah, it's such a weird decision to have this be the last scene.
Yeah, it doesn't quite click, and this this scene like annoys me a bit because it would have been nice to have seen like previous scenes of
Ha-
these two interacting, right?
Yeah, see how they met each other. That would have been interesting. But here's the thing, it doesn't make sense. Like with the way the show had been set up before the scene. There's no way for these two have had a relationship of some kind. So they have to just drop us into it and be like, yeah, these guys, they just met up. Fill it in yourselves.
Yeah, because obviously we're going to be better at writing than these guys, so we can make up and be able to come up with something far more satisfying and believable than whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, it would have been hard to write, so let's just let the viewers fantasize about it.
Yeah. But obviously, this is, what Ormond was talking about when he said he had his, like, a trick up his sleeve. And that was
Right.
bringing Ulf onto the side of the Greens.
Yeah, and the other thing that bugs me about this is it's like, how dumb are we supposed to think Ulf is? Because like I assume things end up working out for him better than you could ever hope, but he's betraying the side with 6 dragons. So then now it's 5 dragons versus one, and Ulf thinks that's a good move.
Well, I mean, that would change it up a bit. And it's granted, not the best choice. But there might be a bit more in the next episode. But I think there's also a little bit of Ulf just kind of being done with the blacks. Because the blacks have not been treating him all that well.
Right, but there still has to be. He's still a self-interested character,
Mhm.
fundamentally. Like if he had been like some anti-Targonian and he was doing this because he genuinely believed that the Targonians were evil and needed to be deposed, then that would actually be a more believable motivation to me than him just being self-interested and doing this for himself. When, as far as I can tell at this point, he should be seeing this as a suicidal move.
So you want the Mutt Targaryen to be anti-Targaryen?
No, I'm not saying that like that's how he should have been written. I'm just using that as an example of like that would be a more believable. Like Ormond, I believe that he would be doing the things he's doing because I think he's actually just dogmatically hates Targaryens. And so the fact that he's kind of running a suicide mission right now makes a little bit of sense. But Oath doesn't have any motivation like that.
I
He
mean,
should just be acting in his own interests, and suiciding, defecting to the enemy team doesn't help his own self interest.
presumably he would still think that the Greens have Vagar.
But he knows. Oh, I guess they do think Aemon is still with Vagar.
Mhm.
Okay, so he thinks he's making it 2 versus 5.
Three. Tesarion's small, but you can't just ignore Tesarion.
2.5. I'll give you 2.5.
Two and a half. Okay, two and a half. But like,
But
hey,
that half is rough because it would lose a fight with any of the 5.
it could fuck up Bela.
Could it?
Yeah, because Tesarion, I think, is like, because Daemon is supposed to be the same age as Jace, and Jace is a bit older than Bela.
And oh, so they're about equal.
Yeah, Tesarion would be a bit bigger by a couple of years.
Huh. Okay, I thought Tessarion was smaller than that.
Nope. Tessarion is in the books. Tessarion's like tied with Jace as being the youngest dragons that were reasonably flown into battle. Because Bela in the books, being younger, her dragon isn't quite mature for warfare.
Mm,
She does
okay.
she does try to fight once in the books, and it does not go well.
All right. I guess if we do call it a genuine 3 to 5, and one of those 3 is Vagar, it's not as unreasonable,
And hey, Helena has Dreamfire.
right?
So I will say, I think you're jumping to conclusions. We don't know that Ulf is going to switch sides,
Right. He could just be playing Ormond right now.
but there may be some more actions that kind of take place in the next episode that might help push him over that edge. Because it seems like he hasn't quite thrown his entire lot behind Ormond.
Sure.
Who knows? Who knows? I'm just saying. We can't be too harsh when we're judging these characters. when we're judging the writing of this show, we can't be too harsh. It's not like they've let us down time after time after time with the most basic of shit.
Yeah. I actually think that I know this is you're being sarcastic, but I think genuinely the opposite is true, that we cannot be uh too kind. Like giving any kindness to this show is a mistake.
Uh, you're probably right. But hey, that was the last scene of the episode. And like I said, second best episode of the season. Still bad. Still quite bad in a lot of ways. But its redeeming quality is Aegon and one cool dragon fight, which I only kind of tangentially like because I feel like the money they put into that dragon fight could have been put into something far more good and more important to the story,
Yeah, for sure.
like making this war feel more like a war rather than like what 2 3 battles have taken place.
Yeah, and how much of those have we really seen?
I mean, we saw the Battle of the Gullet.
Yep. And
uh
that's it.
like yeah, you're right, because I was going to say like we kind of saw the crab feeder, but that's unrelated to the dance. We can't count that. So we have the Battle of the Gullet, which was this season, and then yeah, because like we had like hints at battles going on in the Riverlands.
Well, I guess where what's her face attacked uh Sunfire and Vagar, there's like a
You
battle going on.
you're right, you're right. It did slip my mind for Rook's Rest. Okay. So like yeah, we got Rook's Rest, we got the Gullet, and off screen a battle in the Riverlands.
A lot of battles in the Riverlands, I think,
I
have
don't
happened
even
off
think we
screen.
can call it a lot. I think it was just one.
Well, because there's the one that Damon was at that we saw the aftermath of.
Yeah, the Winter Wolves just cleaned up the remnants. Can you call that a battle?
Yeah,
Is it a
you have
battle
to.
when the
We
janitor
have to call it a battle.
is it a battle when the janitor like, takes the dead cockroach and sweeps it up into the pan? I don't know if I call that a battle.
And then we have the series of skirmishes between Cole and the Tully army.
They don't even call that a battle in the book. They call that a slaughter.
Really?
Cole had no goddamn chance.
Wow.
It
Hmm.
was not battle, it was butchery. And thus it was decreed to be the butcher's ball.
And so that's about all that's happened. And I guess hopefully next episode we'll be getting a third.
Yep, it seems like we're going to get the Battle of Tumbleton, which I'll probably have a lot to say. And I mean, hey, by the the episode's out, so I'm tempted to like after we're done recording to just watch it right after.
Yeah, I might do the same. I already did the things I needed to do today, so
Do we want to watch it and then after just jump back in for the final recording?
no, no, that would be too late. Past my bedtime.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, to everyone who made it this far into our little review, thank you very much. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. And then one more, just one more episode, and then I can get back to making videos that I actually enjoy. Because this, I've enjoyed this. It's always good talking to you, DJ Philip, but fuck me, has this been like a little grueling to get through.
Yeah, it certainly has been.
Well, again, thank you all to making it. Make sure to subscribe if you want to check out some of the later videos so you're all caught up with us. But until then, be safe and hope you all have a wonderful night.